AM 1020, KDKA.
So how do you do it? How do you get your point across that, hey, something needs to get done, even though the kids may not feel like doing something right now? How do you do it without it escalating? How do you do it without the temperature going up? How do you do it without feelings being hurt? Well, let's ask somebody who can tell us. How do we avoid the fight, get your kids to do what you're asking them to do? He is a family psychologist who is joining us right now. His name is Jason Wilcox, who is a co-author of a book called The Listening Space, a guide to strengthening parent-child relationships with motivational parenting. Jason, thanks for being here on KDKA. How are you?
My pleasure. I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
I'm curious to know, motivational parenting, how is that different than just being a mom or a dad?
Well, I think, first off, it is being a mom and a dad, right? Like how we connect with our children. What we're looking at, though, that's unique and special about motivational parenting is the aspects that we can have results with our children. We can get there, the outcomes we're looking for, without the fight. We can engage with them in a way that creates a higher relationship, a better relationship with them while still getting results.
Is it simply a matter of, and I'm not sure if this is the right term or not, of being the adult? I mean, of being the grown-up and making sure that you're not part of the problem? Is that where it starts?
Well, it's definitely a piece of it. We definitely don't want to contribute to the problem. Right? If the child is struggling with whatever it is we're asking them to do, or they're already upset and heightened, how we interact with them is going to definitely make the difference. And so if we model a more calm and gentle behavior and engage with them that way, that makes a difference on ultimately how they're going to engage with us as we keep working with them.
So then how do you get your kids to understand their responsibility without it escalating into an argument?
Well, there's multiple steps to that.
Can you do that in 8 minutes? I mean, that seems like an impossible mission, doesn't it? I mean, seriously, it seems to me it takes a long time to develop that type of relationship and rapport with your own kids too, doesn't it?
It can, absolutely. Some of the stuff that we've discovered and that we utilize can actually have very quick turnaround differences, though. We've worked with multiple families now, and we've seen changes happen fast. You know, you were asking, like, what do we do? Well, first we make sure we have a structure in place, and then there's multiple steps we can take, but 5 that really stand out is that we're making sure that we go in and explore with empathy. So we're exploring what's going on, being curious. We're making sure we're sticking away from our fix-its, telling the child the solutions and what has to happen. We're exploring with the open-ended questions. We're affirming them, letting them know what they're doing right, and we're reflecting information back to them. And that guides them and helps them engage with us to move forward instead of fighting with us.
Empathy, I think, is a key word. Exploring with empathy right there at the beginning. Explain how it's different than sympathy in terms of how it's perceived by the other side.
Oh, I love the question. Sympathy is when we are trying to resolve something because of our own interests. So it's the fact that we don't like what's happening for the person, so we try to get it to stop, right? Empathy is where we meet the person where they're at. So it's actually going down to their level of what might it feel like in this moment? How does it feel to have to do your homework, but you want to go play because you've been at school all day? Yeah. How does it feel to be stuck in that moment? Right? We're moving to their space and having empathy.
One of the other ones that really caught my attention, it caught my ear when you said it, was avoiding the fix-its. And I think that as a dad of 3 sons, that we automatically are sort of the fix-it guy, right? That the oil in your car needs to be changed. Who do you call? You call your dad. Something's not quite right with your baseball glove, or you need to have a new pair of soccer shoes. What do? You call your dad, right? I mean, that is sort of how we are wired. But sometimes being the fix-it guy doesn't help to resolve the problem. Does that make sense? Am I speaking German here, or does it make sense?
No, you're spot on. And yes, as parents, as people, we love to fix it. It's kind of ingrained in us. It feels so good to fix something. And at the same time, if I have conflict with my child, or we're trying to shift and guide through a behavior, if I'm trying to fix it in that moment, I'm actually going to make my job harder, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to get them pushing back against me.
The idea of using these things, Jason Wilcox, with our children, I mean, just as you're saying all of these things, I'm thinking, why can't we use these with our coworkers? Why can't we use these with our spouses? Why can't we use this with our adult siblings? I mean, it's not just a generational tactic, is it?
No, absolutely not. There's a lot of research and study. The foundation of where we're coming from is a technique called motivational interviewing. And it's built off that framework, but it's identifying how to apply it to parenting. And that framework has been applied in multiple places, whether it's our parenting book, the listening space, or going to other places like another book I have that's on leadership and my lead and how to apply this. It's applied in schools. It's applied in hospitals, medical. It's a lot of places this is applied.
Just like there's a difference between empathy and sympathy, there's a big difference between interviewing and interrogation, isn't there?
Absolutely. One's more of a guiding and one is more of a controlling.
And I do think that oftentimes our kids, or when we were kids, we felt like we were being interrogated by our parents. I mean, I'm not saying that it happens all the time, but if you're on that side of it and you feel like you're in a position of relative powerlessness, you feel like you got pulled over, caught speeding, whatever, and the police officer is asking the question. At least I know that I did when I did something wrong.
No, absolutely. We've all been there. And we've all done it as parents too, right?
Yeah.
We're human.
Yeah.
And the interesting fact of what happens to the relationship there's a thing called a power paradox. And most people think if I apply more pressure, more control, I get more influence. But what we find in the research, the more pressure and control, you lose influence at a certain point, and it actually goes the opposite direction.
How long does it take to get good at doing this?
Well, the basic skills I would say anybody could apply today to get really down to the fundamentals of the nuances. It can take a little bit, but really the skills are there because we tried to keep it simple of what the basic ideas are that you could start happening quickly, right? It can be evolving as you go, as you work with your children.
It seems to me, though, that as you're learning these things, we're visiting, by the way, with Jason Wilcox, who is a co-author of a book that's talking about the guide to strengthening parent-child relationships with motivational parenting. The book is called The Listening Space. Jason, it seems to me that sometimes as you're learning to do these things, you're going to catch yourself in the old behavior, right, of reacting, yelling, anger, threats, and things like that. How do you stop yourself when you feel that you're sort of on the verge of that or that you've even started down that road? How do you stop yourself?
Well, awareness is always key. First, identifying what does that look like? Mm-hmm. When do you normally do it? What are triggers? Because if you can start there, then you might be able to do something about it. But if you do feel yourself going to that direction, just like I did a few years ago, I remember my son had done something that was really frustrating. My wife was there, and I felt myself just kind of getting hot in the face, and I snapped, and they both looked at me, and I realized, oh my goodness, I'm going down the wrong road. Yeah. So I did what I always teach, is I paused. I said, I'm going to step away for a moment, and we'll come back to this.
So you gave yourself a timeout?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I told my kids, if I get upset, give me a timeout.
Yeah. So, I mean, it really is sort of a learning process for both sides. And it's not a matter of fighting fair. It's a matter of communicating fairly, right? It doesn't need to be a fight. It's not about fighting. It's about getting to a resolution that both sides can be happy with.
Absolutely. Because if you think about it, the second you get into the fights that against each other, you completely lost sight of what the whole purpose of the conversation was anyways. Now it's about you versus me.
So Jason has done a lot of work, not only therapy for individuals, couples, and families, but also, as you can tell, has got an awful lot of experience as a licensed clinical social worker. Jason Wilcox joining us here on KDKA. Jason, thanks for your insight. Thanks for your time.
Really appreciate your time as well.
Yeah, good stuff. Jason Wilcox, and we'll put that up as a podcast here on KDKA. If you missed it or you want to share it with your kids or with some other people that it might be helpful for them, we'll have that for you here shortly on the KDKA radio website. Jason Wilcox with us again. The name of the book is The Listening Space, a guide to strengthening parent-child relationships with motivational parenting. Time to check on traffic.